Nearly 6 months on, the scenes are still shocking. 18 Manchester United fans needed hospital treatment after clashes with Italian police during their Champions League match against Roma. Carly Lies tried to film what was happening, but had her camera taken. She's pursuing legal action against the police.
One of them just basically sort of grabbed my hand like that and sort of like twisted it round like that.
Today, the 23-year-old showed me how she had been treated and described what went on that night.
They definitely knew they were doing something wrong from the way they were pulling up scarves to hide their faces, Roma scarves to hide their faces. A lot of
the police?
Yeah, there was a few police with Roma scarves on that were hiding their faces that have been sort of identified on lots of video footage since.
Doesn't sound very neutral.
No, definitely not. When they're turning up in basically dressed as like ultras with helmets on, there was no distinction for me between the people inside the ground that were beating us and the people outside the ground that were beating us. They seemed to be, on many occasions, one and the same thing.
Carly never got her camera back. This is a shiny new one, given to her by an Italian TV programme. On it were messages from Francesco Totti and other Roma players saying sorry and inviting her to watch a game as their guest.
Carly, we wait you. Okay.
It was a nice little surprise, but the ones that should be sending messages, not just to me, but to all United fans that were in Rome that night, are the Roma officials, the police and UEFA, who all consistently refuse to acknowledge their role in what happened that night.
With United once again preparing to face Roma, Manchester police insist they're ready to stop any crowd trouble, inside or outside the ground. The only action should be on the pitch. And let's not forget that second leg between these sides last season, despite the trouble before the game, ended 7-1 in favour of Manchester United, an 8-goal thriller, and there really are high hopes there won't be any trouble. We can concentrate on the football. Even if we get half as many goals, it really will be yet another thrilling European night of football.
Let's hope so. Thanks, Alex. Britney Spears has lived her life in fast forward. Child star, superstar, mother of two, rehab patient, divorcee, and all by the age of 25. Now a judge has called a halt and ordered her children to be taken from her. 5's Jane Dougal reports.
For the last time in her custody, Britney Spears leaves with her two sons. Clearly upset, it's reported the singer then drove 2-year-old Sean Preston and 1-year-old Jaden James to a fast food drive-thru and handed them over to her ex-husband's bodyguard. It's the outcome of a bitter custody battle between the couple.
We hope that this change of custody will give Ms. Spears the strong incentive that she needs to get help so that she can one day be the responsible parent that the children deserve to have.
It's the climax of a terrible year for Britney. This public humiliation at the MTV Awards, where she forgot dance moves, was blamed on the star taking strong medication. It's a far cry from Britney in 1999, when she blitzed the music scene, selling millions of records and even being given her own star on Hollywood Boulevard. Now she's lost her management, her hair, her children, and after being filmed hitting another car, she's facing charges of leaving the scene of an accident and driving without a valid licence. If found guilty, she could also lose her freedom.
All these things seem to indicate that she has been made to believe, or she believes herself, that one rule applies for everyone and another rule applies to her. I don't know how much public sympathy she's going to get in the face of all of this.
The judge who awarded temporary custody to Kevin Federline said Britney had engaged in habitual, frequent and continuous use of controlled substances and alcohol. Britney's supposed to be launching her new album soon, but it seems she may have other priorities at the moment. Jane Dougal, 5 News.
Sad. Coming up next on 5 News. Going for a song, Radiohead say fans can get their next new album for next to nothing. And problems in the pumpkin patch, why a Halloween tradition is under threat. This is 5 News, welcome back. Now, do you have a favourite rock group? Well, imagine being able to get hold of their latest release absolutely free. If you're a Radiohead fan, that's what you're going to be able to do. It's not just out of the goodness of their heart. They believe the whole music industry is changing and they want to be part of it. 5's Jonathan Samuels reports.
Many Radiohead fans reckon the band's music is priceless, and now they can pay less for the group's next album. The new release will be available online, fans paying whatever they like to download it.
We've done a mock-up of what the new Radiohead album could look like, but it may never appear in traditional shops like this. So, how much are fans prepared to pay to download their favourite group?
Well, they've put the work in to make the music, haven't they? So they've got to get something back for it, I suppose. So, yeah, 7 or 8 quid's a good price, I think.
Probably about a £5, yeah. About a £5.
£1 to £5, I reckon. That'd be my thing.
Other bands are even giving away their music. Prince's last album was free with the Mail on Sunday, and the Charlatans' new release is a free download on a radio station website.
There's more music out there, which is a great thing, you know, that's the most positive thing about it. People have never been listening to this much music before, probably in the history of music, which is amazing.
Big-name artists can make their money from live performances and souvenirs, but what about emerging new groups?
It's great for consumers and it's great for established bands who have this kind of opportunity open to them. If you're a struggling new artist, it's going to be very difficult to give away your music for free and still make it.
At the moment, 19 out of every 20 downloads are illegal, many fans stealing music for free. Radiohead and others are now relying more on concerts and merchandise than selling records. Jonathan Samuels, 5 News.
So cool. And in 5 News at 7, I'll be talking to Tim Burgess of the Charlatans about why they're giving away their new single free. Now, your news is the part of the show we hand over to you, and as a result, we've seen 1 or 2 unusual things over the past year, perhaps none stranger than Andrew Lindsay's Rhino bike. Here he is explaining why he took it on a 400-mile ride.
This is my Javan Rhino cycle, which I just recently rode from London to Edinburgh to try and raise awareness about critically endangered species. I chose the Javan Rhino because there are, as you can see from the sign there are fewer than 60 of these left in the world. Our world is facing the biggest mass extinction of species since the Ice Age that wiped out the dinosaurs. There is such a lot that we can do to prevent this happening, either by joining one of the major wildlife conservation organisations or passively by avoiding products that come from threatened environments. In Indonesia, they're clearing vast areas of rainforest to make way for palm oil plantations. For our own future, we totally depend on a healthy rainforest, and Javan and Sumatran rhinos, just 2 of many creatures that live there, responsible for keeping that a healthy and vibrant environment.
Well, if that's inspired you, why not make your own video and send it in to the Your News team? Just go to 5.tv/news for all the details. We British have had a lot to put up with in our island story, but the threat to the nation's pumpkins in the run-up to Halloween is a crisis like no other. So what is ailing this eternal symbol of autumn? 5's Layla Hayes reports.
There's trouble brewing in the pumpkin patch. With just 4 weeks till Halloween, the orange fleshy fruit has a bit of an identity problem. This year's batch is mostly green. David Bowman is Britain's largest pumpkin producer. He says he's never seen anything like it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's the worst year in 35 years. And this is the problem. We've had a wet, cold summer, and this is what's happened. Instead of being bright orange, the pumpkins are still quite green.
David's so worried he's using heaters to try and turn the pumpkins orange. And to add to the pressure, he's got to get them into the supermarkets by next week. Thanks to Halloween, we Brits now have a passion for pumpkins.
When I started 35 years ago, we had 40 pumpkins, and now we sell over 2 million.
It may seem harsh, but some pumpkins simply don't make the grade, either through size or quality. But rejecting a pumpkin because of its colour? Surely not.
The trouble is, people expect them to be quite bright orange,
And they're all mixed colours this year.
They certainly are.
Maybe you can market them as a new organic green version.
Yeah, well, we'll try that one then.
Come on, Britain, we can avoid this pumpkin crisis. All it takes is a little imagination. Layla Hayes, 5 News, Lincolnshire.
Nice. In a moment, Lara's here with the weather. First, a reminder of tonight's main news. The inquiry into the death of Princess Diana has started today, more than 10 years after she died in Paris. It could last for 6 months. And while we've been on air, some breaking news. There are reports that the lead Portuguese investigator in the disappearance of the Madeleine McCann case has been sacked. It's been more than 150 days now since Madeleine vanished from her family's holiday apartment in the Algarve. And I'll bring you more on that at 7 o'clock. And that is the news. I'll be back with more on Madeleine and the rest of the day's news at 7. Do join me then. Until then, from me and the team, bye-bye. I've been reporting on the news for the best part of 40 years. Now it's not just the professionals doing it, everyone's doing it. And they send us all kinds of things.
I'm sitting on a bench which was made and painted by our own young people.
I now don't judge myself by what I see in the mirror.
This is our video conferencing. We use it to contact other schools, including China.
Here on 5, we want your news. If you've got a story, then make us a video on a webcam, mobile phone, camera or camcorder and send it to us. All of the details are on our website.
It's great. They get things off their chest. We put their stories on the news.
Servicing an MOT from QuickFit. Getting you through the weather.
Hello, I'm afraid there's wet weather on its way. Right now, clear skies for Scotland, the north of England and much of Ireland. But overnight, the showers affecting the south are gradually spreading. Temperature's not too bad, down to around 11 degrees in the coolest of places. So nowhere near as cold as it has been, but still things are looking pretty miserable. Some clear slots mixed in with the wet weather, but generally the theme of tomorrow is not good at all. Throughout the morning, the wet weather is only carrying on. By midday, temperature's impressive. They're getting up to about 19 degrees in parts of the south, but as you can see, a lot of wet weather to come, especially for parts of the west where it's looking windy as well. That's it for now. Bye-bye.
QuickFit Air Conditioning Recharge. Getting you through the weather.
You can get daily weather forecasts for your area sent directly to your mobile by signing up for 5's weather service. Just text the word weather, followed by a space and the first part of your postcode to 82100. That's 82100.